Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon for some people. Great to see so many of you again at another iText webinar. The topic of today is 5 ways to improve your document generation workflows. Israel, can you move to the next slide, please? Yeah, so the host of today, we have 2 hosts again, so myself and Israel Garcia, who you can see there. He's our iText Ditto product manager, and he will be explaining the challenges and some ways to improve your document generation challenges. Next slide, please. Before I hand over, a few practical elements for people that have never attended a webinar of ours. We are recording all of our webinars. You can find them on YouTube in a few days, and we will also send the recording via email to you probably beginning of next week. At the end, we also have a Q&A. So if you have any questions for us during this webinar, feel free to use the Q&A section or the chat section. We will look at the questions at the end. If we don't have time to go through all of the questions, then Israel and our technical people will get back to you in the next couple of days. Feel free also to share on social that you're attending this webinar or talk about this webinar. You can use the hashtag iText to do that. Next slide, please. Because we have quite some new people to this webinar, perhaps a small introduction into iText software. So we're a leading server-side PDF technology vendor. Our code has been around for more than 20 years. We're mostly known for our SDK, our iText 7 suite, which is a very feature-rich PDF library and most commonly used for PDF-A, PDF UA, digital signing, and more. Next to that, we also have 2 document solutions, as we call it. One is iText Ditto, which is a fast template-based document generation tool. And the other one is iText PDF to Data, which is all about data extraction, template-based data extraction tool. Next slide, please. So we are a leader in PDF technology, and we have our CTO and several people in our research team, which are part of the different working groups at the PDF Association. Our CTO is also a board member, so we are really at the forefront when it comes to PDF. They're also part of the ISO committees for PDF, so anything PDF related, just come to us. We have all the knowledge, and we are also at the start of any changes and evolutions of PDF. Next slide, please. We have more than 7,000 customers across all industries across the globe. We have lots of customers in the US, and EMEA, and in APAC, or the Americas as well, from all kinds of industries. We just listed here a few, and I'm pretty certain that your company fits here in as well. Next slide, please. I'm going to hand it over in a moment to Israel, but before I do that, we have lots of developers here present. Just doing a call because we always welcome contributions and pull requests to our library and our technology. If you feel like helping out our software, just go to our website, check on in the developers tab, the iText community section. There you will find the guidelines on how to submit pull requests or how to contribute to our code. We also have a questionnaire at the end of this webinar with the question, do you want to join the iText developer community? If you tick off yes there, then we will keep you abreast of any product evolutions, changes, and a technical roadmap and more. So that will pop up at the end of the webinar. Next slide, please. And then finally, very pleased to announce that we are running our first global customer conference in a few weeks from now. On Tuesday, the 14th of June, with the exotic theme of Shake It, Make It. It's going to be a 3-hour agenda, full with sessions on product roadmaps, demos. There will also be a coding session. We have our founder, Bruno Louagie, who is going to deliver a keynote. And we have lots of giveaways that we will be handing out to attendees. So if you're a customer, and you haven't signed up yet, just go to the URL and sign up, save your seat for that first global customer conference. From here, Israel, I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'll see you back again at the Q&A.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Karim. And actually, welcome to everyone. You know, actually, As you can see on the agenda, the first item is introducing iText software. So Karim has done that already. So I think it's only fair I introduce myself. I'm just going to spend a few seconds to introduce myself. As you can tell, because of my strong accent, I'm Spanish and based in UK. Is currently working for iText, headquartered in Belgium, with offices all around the world. So in the last 10, 12 years, been product manager for different companies. I've been working with a small and large company. Actually, as a matter of fact, previous I joined iText, I used to work at Google in London. Okay, so I think that's gonna be all for now about myself. Coming back to the agenda, is what we are going to be touching today is 5 different ways of improving your document generation workflows. And at the end, I will do a very brief demo of our solution template-based iText Ditto. So without any more delay, I always like to start with a little bit, of the questions that actually you have been asking us for the last few years. So what we see right now on this slide, is what we think, are the document generation needs on the industry. So first of all is thank you for answering the questions in the registration form. Actually, we classify them in 5 different categories, which is what you can see in front of you. So actually is today, well, I'm gonna be telling you like 5 ways of improving the document generation workflows. I will be touching a little bit and try to answer your questions in here, all right? So once again, thank you for answering the questions in the registration form, because that's a way of getting feedback directly from you, from the market. So whatever you tell us, is what we are going to be working next in our iText product portfolio. So as we promised here, we start with the 5 ways to improve your document generation workflow. The first way is use data-driven templates. Traditionally, inserting dynamic data into documents is very often complicated and require technical skills. Traditional methods do not let you preview the result with real data and takes too much time trying and testing the look and feel of those documents. Actually, now we present you like a new way of doing things. Is with iText Ditto, you can create data collections with multiple data sources. You can preview as well your documents at the same time that you are generating or redesigning your templates. Is actually, when it comes to design templates, there is no coding required. Actually, you can create dynamic templates and you don't need to be a developer. Okay, I think this is a game changer now in the industry, because all the templates that we design, they are HTML based. Okay, we will touch on this a little bit later. But very important to remember in here is you can preview your PDF documents with real data at the same time that you are designing your templates. And as I said before, you don't need to be a developer in order to design and maintain your template. So what are the benefits of using data-driven templates? Well, actually, the first benefit is save time. Actually, by using templates, you can reuse those templates. You can easier maintain those templates. You can improve the look and the content for those documents that you're going to be generating. It's like you can have a more standardized way of presenting your documents, across all the different document portfolio that you are using. The most important is you can free the most valuable team resources, you developers, by separating templates designers, developers. Actually you can those developers, it can spend their time on what is more important, is creating more interesting workflows. The second way of improving your document generation workflow, it's like have a collaborative approach. So very often developers spend too much of their time creating and editing hundreds of documents. And as I said before, is sometimes the time that developers are using on maintaining those templates that they were creating like long time ago is time that has been already assigned to other projects. So it has a knock-on effect. So Ditto is a more efficient way, as it is easier to use, easier to design templates. Within Ditto, we have the concept of workspace. You can have different workspace with permissions in there. You can create multiple templates. You can create assets. By assets, I mean images, cascade style sheets. Yes, cascade style sheets, because our templates, they are HTML-based templates that can be imported and exported, so you don't get locked into iText way of doing things. Other type of assets is data sources. And you can apply different permissions to those workspaces, to those templates, allowing some of your users to being able to edit them, to delete them, to use them. We also, within Ditto, we have the concept of promotion paths. And that's like creating different steps within your document creation process. I mean, that, once again, that's allowing collaboration. Is you can have a first step, just to try and test your documents and your templates. And a second step, a second promotion path, it could be directly into production, or it could be some sort of approval process. Okay. More important is you can get designers and developers to work together in different spaces. So like you can get designers to design templates, and you can get developers to work in interesting workflows, as I mentioned before, by creating applications that integrate with our iText Ditto SDK. By separating three components, the three parts of Ditto, actually you can get different roles working together. So we have the manager to manage the workspaces, the data collection, templates, the users. We have the editor for the designers to design the templates with a very easy to use WYSIWYG, or what you see is what you get. A very different part, is the iText Ditto SDK is a REST API. As you can see, is we distribute it in a container, in a Docker container. So actually, it's easy for you to use on any cloud platform because it's a REST API. Actually, easy to integrate with any stack that you're currently using, or any solution that you're currently using within your enterprise. So what are the benefits of the collaborative approach? Well, the best benefit is there is no learning curve in here. It's very easy to use. It's at the same time, you get a better use of your team resources. As I mentioned before, is you can keep them more motivated by having the developers working on development work and not having to come back on editing the templates just because the designers don't like the way that the developers, are designing those templates. So you get designers or more visual people working on templates, developers coding integrations with iText Ditto. Another benefit is you can manage your templates and your assets, so you can make sure that the right look and feel, it goes to your customers with the right logo, with the right resolution. The logo and the assets that they have been approved by the marketing team, for instance. As I mentioned before, enabling collaboration is a benefit by itself. It's like you can have multiple teams working together under the same solution, the same workspace. And we talk a little bit about the different promotion paths or the different steps that you can create within Ditto. So the third way of improving your document generation is recycle your templates, recycle all the different elements within your documents. You know, it's every new document that we create has elements, has objects in there that we want to reuse, whether it is a logo type, whether it's a copyright text, sometimes even a whole section of the template. You know, we are talking about the headers, we are talking about the body, we are talking about the footer. Copying and pasting every little design or element sometimes is very time consuming, and it creates a very inefficient PDF generation process. So as I mentioned before, within PDF Ditto is you can create header and footer templates. I will show you later during the demo how to do that. You can keep track of the changes. You know, we have like implemented version control on the templates, so you can roll back the changes to a previous version. We have the concept of composition templates. Composition templates, the templates that are using all the templates, such as header and footers, in order to create a final template, you know. When you change a header or you change a footer that's been using multiple composition templates, you know, it gets updated across all those templates. So it's a very easier and more efficient way of maintaining your templates. Another benefit is recycle your assets and recycle your data sources. So benefits, once again, of reusing and recycle elements and templates is faster template creation process. You can track your changes, you can roll back, you can see who did what and when. You can have more consistent templates, you know, across your organization. Sometimes because you get different people working on different templates, they have a different idea of what the templates or the document may look like. You know, by managing all the templates together, actually you have consistent looking templates across the organization, which that translates into a better user experience. As I mentioned before, it's easier to maintain your templates by creating composition templates, header templates, footer templates. So this is the third way of improving your document workflow. So the fourth way is prepare for growth, prepare for the future. Actually, we always want to know as the company grows and our customers grow, is whether our PDF creation solution can keep up with the increasing volume of the PDFs. With iText Ditto, actually iText Ditto is built on top of our iText Core 7 solution. iText Core has been out there for more than 20 years. So it's a very robust, you know, it's well-tested solution. You can create multiple instances of the SDK to cope with the demand. You can have one, you can have many, you can have, because we deliver our solution in containers, you can have all this process of creating more instances and shrinking automated by the new cloud services out there. As I mentioned before, because this container is cloud agnostic, you can have is what we call multi-cloud. It's compatible with AWS, it's compatible with Azure, it's compatible with Google Cloud Platform, you know, and actually it's compatible with having it on premises. You know, it's like I'm gonna be showing you my demo, I'm gonna be showing you an instance that has been deployed in my local computer. More important is, as I mentioned before, is our templates that are HTML-based templates, which make them very dynamic, you know, future-proof compatible with any solution that you are using today and you will be using in the future. So benefits of preparing for the growth, is getting compatible solutions with the most popular cloud services. So actually, you don't need to be stuck on just one cloud service. If for whatever reason, actually, the pricing change or the services agreements, don't fit your company or your enterprise, you can always take Ditto to a different cloud service. And all this is thanks to the container approach. Is you can use Docker or Kubernetes, and you can automate the way that they run or they spin different nodes. To prepare for growth is you can run multiple instances to cope with the demand. As I mentioned before, you can run one, you can run multiple, is you can control your bill, and at the same time is you can make sure that your service, your PDF generation service is always up and running. And we come now to the fifth way, fifth way of improving your document generation service, document generation workflows, is provide support for assistive technology. Why is this important? Well, actually, if your current PDF generation solution doesn't have support for assistive technology, you may not comply with the standards and regulation of the industry. That can bring your company into trouble as it's not following the law. Okay. Ditto enables PDF UA document generation directly from our templates. You can choose to generate PDF UA compliant documents directly from the template. So what is a PDF UA? Actually, UA stands for Universal Accessibility. It's an ISO standard. Actually, the ISO standard number is 14289. But basically, actually, it's an ISO standard intended for ensure accessibility and support for assistive technology. It's assistive technology is we're talking here technologies such as screen readers that make people with disability being able to read the documents in front of them. Okay, and that brings us back to US Section 508. It's one of the questions that we get very often. I have to say, as Karim mentioned before, is iText drive PDF standards as we sit on the board of the PDF Association. Okay, so actually for us, it's very important to follow standards on different government and different countries. The US Section 508 requires that the federal government procure, create, use, and maintain information technology that is accessible to people with disabilities, regardless of whether or not they work for the federal government. So wrapping up, this fifth way of improving the document generation workflow is enable your colleagues and your customers. Okay, don't limit them. It's the other way around. Empower them, enable them to use documents, by having the support for assistive technology within your documents. Comply with the standards and regulations in your industry. Okay, that's gonna save your company, your enterprise, tons of money today and tomorrow, and you don't need to rush. If you already follow the trends of the regulation and standards, and even if you don't need to comply with the standards and the regulations today, you can see that later in the future that's gonna come back to your industry as well. iText Ditto in a nutshell. So let's make a small summary here of everything that we have been talking about, before we go to the demo. Is create efficient workflow to design and maintain PDF templates and generate data-driven document in production. It's prepare, as we mentioned before, is prepare for the future, ensuring that you can grow as your business grows, as your customers grow, and you comply with the standards and regulation trends. Okay, another thing to remember here, actually we touch on is ensure flexibility for your solution. With iText Dito is easy to integrate with existing enterprise solution that you may already have in your company or future solutions that you want to implement in the future. You don't want to choose a solution that doesn't allow you flexibility today or tomorrow. Okay, it's called for multi-platform. We can choose a solution that actually is compatible with different platforms out there. It's compatible with on-premises. Different industries, you know, they have different regulations. Some enterprises or some industries, actually, they cannot go to public cloud platforms. Is with iText Dito, there is no code experience required to create, edit, or manage templates. Okay, and this allows collaboration. iText Dito application flow, you know, is we see that you collect the data, you design the templates, and then you mesh that data in that template, you know, into thousands or hundreds of thousands of documents. The iText Dito SDK or API, REST API, is available in two different flavors. We have a native Java application that you can integrate in your solutions, or we have a Docker container, which is programming language agnostic. You know, you can make REST calls to this API from any solution that you already have or that you're thinking to implement in the future. With iText Dito and the iText products in general, you get more than just a solution. Actually, you get great documentation. As I mentioned before, iText pedigree, you know, it goes back to more than 20 years. We have the developers community that they have been using our products for many years. Our documentation is great. Our support is great. And we have a large product ecosystem. Okay, we have different products in here. We have iText Dito, we have PDF to data, we have iText Core, and we have a large number of add-ons compatible with these products. We have major releases for iText Dito 3 times a year, but we also have minor releases, you know, with security fixes and new features every other week. So that means if you have a problem, if there is a security issue, we get it solved and you don't need to wait for it. So you can download directly the latest release from our website. So this is the end of my presentation today. So now we're gonna go to the iText Dito presentation. Sorry, demo. So let's go for it. So first of all, actually I have login already on my iText Dito, but I'm gonna log out just for you to see what it looks like. Okay, so we have, as soon as you can see over here on the URL, is I'm running right now this iText Dito on my local computer. I'm gonna have in here my username. Actually, for this particular one, I have admin.mail.com. Here the password. Okay, remember me and login. Oops. I hope this is working fine. Let's go again. Okay, so I guess we need to go to plan B. I forgot the password, so I have this already in here. So this is what you see as soon as you log in, okay? And we have different areas in here. So the first thing actually to show you is the workspace. So we have different workspaces in here, okay? It's like we go to here, workspace configuration. We have like different configurations in here, okay? So you can use different workspaces, meaning, you know, that you can securely bound your users, your templates, and your assets, okay? And we have in here what we call as well promotion paths. It's like currently, is I only have one SDK instance. I'm using that instance as a single stage, you know, but we can have multiple instances in here. It's like, for instance, if I give in here like production, this is the way it looks like. You know, we have development stage where we can move to the production stage. In here, I need to add an instance, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Okay, so the next thing to use you is the users. Is from the manager. Is you can manage your users. Okay, and you can manage the security roles and the permissions. You can add new roles. Currently, you know, you can see we have administrator, global administrator, template designer. You know, is you can add new roles if you want. Okay, and you can assign those users to the different roles with different permissions. Okay, let's do a test in here. I'm gonna go next, and actually you pick and choose granular permissions for that particular role. So easier way of managing your users and your roles. Okay, I'm gonna cancel this one. I'm gonna touch a little bit about data management. Okay, we have the concept, as I mentioned before, of data collections. So data collection in here, you know, it's gonna be like groups of data. It's like you can have within data collection, you can have data samples, and you can have multiple sources of data. It's actually all the data needs to be in JSON format with that, which is a very popular, well-supported way of data format nowadays. You have in here version history. So if you have more than one version, you can roll back, and you have permissions and dependencies. So you know where that data collection is being used to. Okay, so it's being used in here, in this case. So let's touch now on a different component of iText Dito, which is the template manager, okay? So we are managing here the templates. We have different templates, and we have different type of templates. We have standard templates, we have header templates, we have footer templates, we have composition templates. Composition meaning, you know, is a group of other templates such as header, footer, and body. Okay, for instance, let's see this one. So this is a composition template where you can pick and choose, you know, is what is the header area, what kind of template you're going to be using for the header, what kind of templates or which template you're going to be using for your footer, okay, which template you're going to be using for the main body. These templates actually, they could be PDF UA templates, okay? So for instance, actually, if we go to general, we go to template management, if we can add a new template, this is the way that you create a template, as easy as this. We give it a name, so it's gonna be Israel test template. Oops. We select data collection. Or actually, if you want to, you can create a template without any sort of data binding. It doesn't have to be dynamic template. It could be a static template. and we select what type of templates. So in this case, I'm going to choose standard templates, and we create the template. So this is the way that you create a template from scratch. Okay, so I'm going to close this one. Okay, because I wanted to show you one that I have already prepared in here. Webinar demo template. Actually, just to highlight in here is when you select the template, you get the preview here on the thumbnail on the right hand side, so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so you have a brief description, you have the name, you have all the associated data collection in here when it was created, different versions. Okay, so if we go to the version history, actually you only have one, but actually we can update just for the sake of it. We're gonna make some changes to roll back our changes. So what is it that we're gonna be doing? Well, actually, let's go and change the color of this header right now very, very quick. Let's go and change it to green. So we can see, we go to preview, asking us to save. So we save, we choose the preview. You can select within different data samples. Okay, I'm gonna choose the UK one. And now we can see the header in green. And we commit the changes. Okay, header green. We go back. We're gonna select a different version. Now we have two versions in here. We have the version with the header in green, and we have the original one. Okay. So let's do a rollback. It's like we don't like the green one, so actually we roll back the version to the gray one. Back. Okay, so we go to the preview. And we see back the gray header. Perfect. As I mentioned before, is these templates, actually they are HTML-based templates. So how do we do that? So one thing that we can do to prove the point is we can go and export our templates. This, gonna do export to DITO or export to DTA. Okay, so I'm gonna export all the versions. Click here, export. All right, and we go to my computer, showing the folder. Back my computer, and we have in here the webinar demo template, the template that we were using. I'm gonna do very quickly change the extension from DTA to .c, because after all, it's our template. It's just a container that have in there all the different assets and the template and some extra metadata. So we open the templates and we have in here the data collections. So all the data is here. We have data samples, we have all the different resources. These are the images within the templates, all the different assets, and we have the templates itself. Okay, so we're gonna get the different versions of the template. Gonna get this particular one, gonna extract it. Okay, it's gonna be extracted in here. And we are gonna be opening it right now. Just double clicking here. And this is our template. It's a HTML template that you can use on any other solution. You don't need to create a new template. So as I mentioned before, is having more consistent designs on your documents that you can use in the future. You can use now in other solutions, and you preserve the look and feel of your templates forever. Other things to look in here is how you bind data within templates. Actually, this is the template. We open it in here, and you can see, as I mentioned before, is you don't need to be a developer in order to do binding on the template. So we have this text in here. It's a text in this particular one. Actually, we just click on data, and we see what data is here, and we see here, the different fields. If we want to as well, we can add conditions to our data. So what does it mean, conditions? I'm gonna click on conditions in here. We have already, for this template, applied different conditions to the data that we display within the template. So we have in here an example is the discounts. It will only show if the discount exists, is bigger than 0. Or in this other area, actually we have different greeting, is depending if the customer is from the United Kingdom or the customer is from United States. So how does it translate? We have this text that says, God save the Queen if you are British, if you are from UK. And in here it says, oh say, can you see, if you are from United States. So we are gonna go to the preview, okay? And we're gonna choose the UK data sample for the preview. Click down, and you can say here, God save the Queen. But if we change the data, now we have a British customer in here. Actually, you saw that the discount disappeared, but the greeting here at the bottom of the document, is now the American way. We see here QR codes is actually we support different objects within our templates. Okay, QR code is one of them. Just to give you like a quick show, what is it that we support currently? We have forms, text, tables, lists, images, barcodes, different type of barcodes, QR codes, line barcodes, table of contents, with links to the different parts of the document, charts, form elements, okay? And all of them, they have different properties, okay? So you can style it, you can change the layout, you can change the look and feel, you can change the data bind to that particular elements within your templates. And from here as well, you can get access to the assets that you have. This is an example, it's an image, okay, of the logo. And you can also have a style sheet. So let's open this style sheet. I don't know if you can see from there, but actually we have in here, we're styling on this table, the look and feel of the even and odd rows. So it has the zebra look and feel. Let's preview once again. As you can see here, that this zebra look, like gray and white. I'm a little bit concerned about the time, so I'm gonna be wrapping up the demo. I'm gonna be passing back to Karim. I'm gonna allow some time for our Q&A session, if you want to. What do you think, Karim?
Yes.
Can we do that?
Yes. Yeah, good idea, Israel. And thank you for the great extensive demo. But indeed, in the interest of time, we're running already 15 minutes over time. Let's limit it to 2 questions. And Israel, I'll send you the questions that we haven't covered now, and we'll work on a reply. We'll get back to everyone after this webinar in the next few days. But perhaps the first question from Louis, and the question from Louis is, let me read it. How do you manage data coming from multiple sources?
How you manage data? Actually, we touched a little bit on that. It's like data, you can create different data collections. Data collection is like groups of data. If you are thinking of creating documents for a particular office or for a particular company or for a particular document, you can create a data collection specific to that document or specific to that company. Okay, and you can import, you can add within data collections, you can have different data sources, always in the JSON format, which I mentioned before is a very popular format of managing data nowadays.
Okay, and then one more question. Does iText only work in a browser, or can it be incorporated into applications? That's a question from Rob. So does iText only work in a browser, or can it be incorporated into applications?
That's a very good point. Actually, the Dito, you know, the template designer, we have like 3 different components of iText Dito. We have the manager, the template designer, and we have the SDK. So what it is, the manager and the template designer actually works on the browser. We did that to allow collaboration. If you have it in a desktop shrink wrap desktop application, it wouldn't do the collaboration justice. So yes, it does work in the browser only, but we have the SDK that actually is as a Java SDK, is you can implement it anywhere if you want to, but that will be only for the generation of documents, not the managing the users, managing the templates, and the template design.
Okay, yeah, very good. Thanks a lot, Israel, and thanks everyone for joining the session today. We have another session later today. If you can join us, feel free also to join that session. But again, for everyone that has submitted a question which we haven't answered now, we will get back to you in the next few days. Feel free to do a trial with iText on our website, or contact us if you have any further questions. Thank you very much, Israel, and looking forward to the session this afternoon for us.
Oh, thank you, everyone, especially those ones that had to wake up early today to come to the webinar. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.